Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at this album here by Elvis Costello and the Attractions This Year's Model. So I'll just be doing the usual thing in this video, a bit of background information about the record, then showing you the vinyl copy of it, what I've got, and then looking at each of the album songs in detail. But before I begin, this review was requested by user Matthew Gold, so thank you very much for requesting this. As I say at the end of my videos, if you do have any requests for future reviews, you're more than welcome to leave them below in the comments. So yeah, this was Costello's second studio album, but first to feature his backing band, The Attractions. It was released on the 7th of March in 1978. So his debut record, My Aim Is True, was quite well received, and Costello went out on tour to promote that record, assembling a backing band at The Attractions, who a lot more off a sort of tougher outfit than Clover had been on My Aim Is True. They were also suited to his kind of sort of pointed songwriting style as well. It consisted of it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad picture here, but you've got Bruce Thomas there on bass, really providing very interesting bass lines which would often come to the fore off the songs. Steve Naive, classically trained pianist, he really just knew when to add the right sort of keyboard colours to the songs. And then Pete Thomas on drums, just a real powerhouse drummer gave Costello's songs a lot of energy. So it was recorded in between tours with producer Nick Lowe, he was quite well-known name anyway, on his own terms, he'd been in the group Brisley Schwartz, and had a few solo records out as well. Costello had signed a deal with Columbia Records, who issued this album, and I think also reissued My Aim Is True in America, and Radar Records over here in the UK. It also consists of a lot of the leftover tracks from My Aim Is True, so you might expect that this record maybe suffers from sort of second album syndrome, where it's just a watered down version of the first record, but that's really not the case here. It was a very critically well received album, topping Village Voice magazine's albums of the year list for 1978, and ranked at number 98 on Rolling Stone magazine's 500 greatest albums list. Commercially, it also performed quite well, reaching number 4 on the UK albums charts, and quite a decent number 30 on the American charts. Okay, so I'll now just look at the vinyl album here. I will just start with the album cover. I think it's got a great photo on it, really iconic picture of supposedly he's sort of copying the pose and mannerisms off the photographer taking it, but also there's a sort of a funny story, he asked the photographer to play the Eagles song Hotel California, because this was a song where Elvis Costello despised, which sort of gives him this really sort of stern, angry facial expression, which he's got on the cover. Also note this is the UK copy with this deliberately sort of misprinted cover here, it's kind of it's all gone out off a line where you've got the sort of Elvis and then the T for This Year's Model there, and it's sort of supposed to be sort of wrapped around with this. It's quite an interesting design to it, I think. As I said, you've seen the back cover already, just a sort of band picture. Then inside you've got a nice inner sleeve with that sort of design on it, and then a wee still from his Saturday Night Live TV appearance there. And the record, as said, is just on Radar record label here, so I can change your record label for this album. And then also early copies of the record came with a wee bonus 7-inch single here, which is something what Costello would often chuck in with his records. On this single you've got a song Stranger in the House, which is a bit of a sort of country style song. It doesn't really fit in with the record, so that's why it was kind of chucked in as a 7-inch single, and then a cover song all at the back, neat. So yeah, this is quite a nice exclusive thing that came with early pressings of the album. So as usual, I'll now just go over each of the album songs in detail. I'll score each track out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. So the record begins with a song No Action, which is a really great track to open up. Very sort of frantic, upbeat, very short song to start off the album. quite sort of similar, like in terms of like kind of purpose, like to like Welcome to the Working Week, like from My Aim Is True. Like it kind of packs in like a lot like into like this song, which is less than like 2 minutes long. It's just about like lyrically like how he's like keeps like getting like rejected like, by like a girl, like I don't want to kiss you, I don't want to touch, I don't want to see you because I don't miss you that much. And it's quite sort of paranoid lyrics and lyrics which kind of ties in like with like the very sort of frantic like music performance like on it. I just think it's a cracking start like to the record. And then the next track is called This Year's Girl, which begins with this sort of like solid like drum beat pattern, which I hear a lot of like the Beatles song Ticket to Ride like in it. Like I wouldn't be surprised like if like that was like one of like the inspirations like for the drumming like on this song here. And like I just love the way this song builds. You just start like with like the drums, like then like you get like a kind of like muted sort of guitar like on it, and then like Steve Naif's swirling organ. It's just a wonderfully constructed track. You've got like a killer bridge like on it, which just really lifts things up. It is a wonderful song there, and another 10 out of 10 for me, This Year's Girl. The next song is called The Beat, which is a more kind of low-key, sort of almost sort of reggae-style song, like I sort of like to see this one as. You've got like these kind of like little like organ stabs like on it, like with like a kind of flowing chorus. Like it's sort of like everything just really flows well like into this song. It is quite laid back like this track, I think. And like I said like earlier like about like Bruce Thomas, like his bass playing like is really melodic, and like actually like because like the attractions like were like a pretty like small band, and like you only had like one guitarist like Costello, like as well as like sort of keyboard player and drums, like it really like allows like the bass to sort of come to the fore, like like Bruce Thomas like is kind of playing it like almost like a second like almost like a secondary like guitar part, which I think just works like so well. And then we get one of the singles from the record, Pump It Up, which is one of Costello's most popular songs. I just really like love this track here. Lyrically, it's like very inspired like by Bob Dylan's song, like Subterranean Homesick Blues, like kind of just like this very sort of fast paced, like kind of like word association sort of thing going on with it. It's just got a great kind of like mod beat to it as well. Like you can really like imagine like the Who like doing like something like this like back in like the early 60s, like with like this sort of classic riff on it. It is a great song. Like unfortunately didn't do too great like all like the singles chart, like only reached number 24, but no matter, it is a wonderful track there. Pump It Up would get an 9 out of 10 from me. And then we're kind of thrusted into sort of like the only real sort of slower ballad like all like the record, but we really do need it like after Pump It Up. It's called Little Triggers, and it's just such a nice refreshing song like all like the record. Maybe it doesn't change much like melodically, but it's a really nice restrained performance like from like the Attractions, really showing that like they were a very versatile like backing band like, for Costello. Like it's a kind of like look forward like to some like off like the more like softer tracks like on like follow-up albums such as Get Happy. So yeah, like Little Triggers, another wonderful brilliant track there. And then the first side closes with You Belong to Me, which is a much more sort of frantic, fast-paced number, which is quite punky, but also I hear a lot of 60s like influence like on this one, especially like Rolling Stones song The Last Time. Like it's got that same kind of like rolling like guitar riff, like along with like a similar kind of sort of like jumping sort of like drum beat like going through it. Like I said, like once again like for this record, like I'm saying this about like pretty much every song, but just really nice arrangement, really great playing. Really great playing on it. Just another like sort of like top class track there. We'll get a 9 out of 10 from me. And then to kick off side 2, we get a track which maybe sort of most people kind of like look over like all like the record, but it is one of my favourites. It's called Hand in Hand, which I quite like the start of this one. It starts with like this sort of strange like sort of sound effects, like these sort of like backwards vocals, just gives it this really sort of like psychedelic touch, which I quite like. And lyrically, like again, like it's quite angsty, like about like relationships. Like it's like, don't ask me to apologise, I would ask you to forgive me. If I'm gonna come down, you're gonna come with me. And like yeah, like it's just like I would say like a sort of punk take like on like on like a kind of like big ballads like sort of style song. So you're hand in hand, wonderful song there.
I want to go to Chelsea.
Then we get one of the other singles from the record. I believe this was the lead single, I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea, which is another cracking song with a great sort of pulsive bass line, like a guitar riff on it, as well as Pete Thomas's very distinctive like drum beat on it. Lyrically, it is another interesting track. Could be about like sort of like the fashion like all like modelling like industry, but also could be like a comment like on like Costello kind of not wanting to like become famous like or enter like kind of like a high class like way of living. Like one of like the singles from the record reached number 16 like on like the UK singles chart, and like yeah, like it's one of my favourite songs like from like the records, like one like the most popular songs, and like rightfully so, I think. Now the next one is also really good. Like it doesn't maybe stand out as much as some of like the other tracks, but it is like I would say still a really great, really like worthwhile song. Lip Service, just a great upbeat track. It's got the now kind of like classic like established sound like off this record, but like with like really good like production on it, like nice sort of like hand claps like on it like as well. It just keeps the song like quite interesting, like cool lyrics like as well, like kind of like I like that chorus like everybody's just going through the motions. Yeah, just a really solid track there, I think. And the next one is another favourite of mine, Living in Paradise, which is yet another sort of upbeat track, and I really love the introduction to this. It's got this very sort of playful like guitar riff, which is sort of combined with like a organ, which sort of intertwine sort of perfectly, like they play off each other like really well, I think. I have had a few different lyrical interpretations about this song. Like some people said that it's a kind of song about the consequences like of like becoming famous, but like also could just be like about like sort of like jealousy, like in like a relationship, like in like the opening line, like how's it go again? Like I don't like those other guys looking at your curves, like I don't like you hanging around with physical jerks. And like I just love the way like kind of like the chorus, it just flows like sort of like effortlessly. Like it's very hooky, this song, but it doesn't really like sound like he's like laboured like over it too much. It's just a very like effortless track there. So Living in Paradise, a 10 out of 10, one of my favourites from the record.
Not just another mouth of lipstick vogue.
And then we get maybe my least favourite song like on the record, but it's by no means a bad track. It is Lipstic Vogue, which this one is probably the most intense song like on the album. The introduction, you've got like Pete Thomas's very frantic like sort of like snare like drum rolls on it. Just feels like it's gonna take off like almost this track here. Like nice sort of like change of pace like in like the middle. Like this one works quite well like as a live performance, like a live jam like between like the musicians, because they all sort of like interplay like off each other like really well. But like I would say like it isn't quite as like melodic, like isn't quite like as like sort of like sort of like instantly like memorable, like kind of like you look at like the title sometimes and just think like how does that one go again? But yeah, like a good song there though, like nonetheless. Lipstic Vogue, we're getting 8 out of 10. And then the last song on my vinyl copy of the album is called Night Rally, which is a more sort of mysterious track. Like it's sort of started like with like this mysterious like sort of like synth bed, like quite eerie sound to it. Like I have like these tense like sort of like drum rolls. Lyrically, it sort of looks forward to his next album, Armed Forces, like with kind of like fascist themes like on this one here. Like it's sort of about like kind of like the National Front, like and like sort of like the dangers like of them, like sort of thing. Like I love like the way it kind of builds up like to like this sort of big like crescendo like of like a wall of noise basically. Like I'm like yeah, like it is an experimental track, but I think works like really well to close off the UK version like of the album. However, for my review, I am going to, like as you see there, talk about the song Radio Radio, which was on the American version, and like is I would say a song which is too good to leave off this record. Like it is a cracking song, like just about like how like radio like was growing like ever like more like commercialized like in like the late 70s, like that kind of like had like a very sort of controlling sort of like presence really. And famously like he performed this song live on Saturday Night Live, and like he actually got banned, like he wasn't like allowed to sing this song, but like he kind of like like it's quite famous for it is quite famous footage. Like he starts doing Less Than Zero, but like about like halfway through like the introduction, he just says stop, we're gonna do radio, and like yeah, like that moment, like it did bring him like a lot of like fame, like and like a lot of like attention, which it was meant to do. Like it was basically just like a like publicity stunt really, but it works. So that's the thing, and like yeah, like it is a wonderful song there, radio. Just again, great production, great band playing. Like another single from the record, only managed number 29 on the UK charts. Like I think it could have charted like a little bit higher there because it is a wonderful song.
So you better listen to the
Okay, so overall this album scores 94%. So yeah, this is for me definitely Elvis Costello's best record. But I would say it wasn't one which I immediately like gravitated like towards. Like when I first got it, like I mean, like I wouldn't say like I was disappointed, like, but I probably preferred like My Aim Is True and like Armed Forces and like maybe like even Get Happy like as well. But right now, like I would consider this his best record. Like this was the album where he very much found his whole sort of sound, like attitude, and like he was writing like his most angry and like fraught material. Like kind of like My Aim Is True was great as well, but there's some sort of like rockabilly sound they got a little bit of country on it. Like those are like now gone, and like he was very much like operating like in like kind of like the new wave sort of field, like inventing like something quite new, like and like unique like for like his sound. I do like also have to give like a lot of credit like to producer Nick Lowe. Like he like gives this record like a real sort of like edge, like as well like as like kind of like rawness to it, like because like it's not been like overproduced like yet. Like it's still very lush record, like still very much like a joy like all like the years, and like production wise hasn't really dated like all that much. I think this is like also just Costello like at like his absolute best. Like I mean like the songs are like quite short. There's nothing like on here like longer than 4 minutes, like I don't think. And like within each track they're so packed full like of like melodic ideas, like and like kind of like clever lyrics. Like you never really tire like off this album. So yeah, that's been my review of this year's Model. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you all next time for my next video. Goodbye.
picking up the perks. 'Cause when they pull the shutters down and throw